Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilot's YouTube channel. And today we're going to study our humble push-button starter switch that you find on any Grumman. We don't have an ignition switch like Cessnas or Pipers. We have a push button, which makes it a little bit different. And here's an exploded view of what's all inside of the push button. It's nothing more than a fancy way to get contact made to be able to ground the starter relay. So stay tuned. We would like to ask you please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notify to stay current with our content. Now this is part number 9279 from the parts catalog. It's made by the Cole-Hersee company in Boston, Massachusetts. They were vendor V13775. So it's a push button switch. It's got quite a bit of pressure to it, and it goes into the panel, screws in through a small 3/8 inch hole, not the 3/4 inch hole that the new starter buttons you'll find at Napa will require. And then it has two contacts on the back for the grounding of the round lugs. And what these do is they go to the starter relay. And what it does is it basically grounds the starter relay, so it will send power to the starter and crank the aircraft. So the only thing that can really go wrong with these, other than a broken wire, is the contacts inside get dirty. So here's all the parts from after you take a push button starter apart, and they can be taken apart and they can be cleaned, though it's not recommended for an owner operator. And there's the outer casing that holds everything together and holds everything at the bottom. And now there's your push button, and what the push button does, it sits on that phenol plate right there, that little round brown circle right to the right of it, but that's your push button that extends the force down into the switch. And then the push button pushes against this phenol plate, and it goes against the next piece, and what it does is it distributes the push from the push button over a much larger area, and it's constrained, it can't wobble because it's inside of the casing. Now the phenol plate rests against that and keeps it, and it pushes against it. Now the bottom it pushes against, the little top round plate, will go through the center of that screw and will connect to the two contacts on the very bottom of the plate. Nothing much to say about this part other than it's a spring, and so when you push in on the starter button, it allows it to return to its off position. When you push it all the way in, though, it hits those two contacts. So when you push it all the way down, that little brass plate goes to the very bottom through the spring, and it touches those two little contact points, which are holding the contacts on the bottom, which connect to your connections that go to your starter relay. And that's what's inside of a starter switch. It can all be put back together, clamped back into place after being cleaned, and it should be good for another 40 years. So here's the switch. It's all been reassembled. It's all being there, and there's the two little rivets that become your contacts on the inside, and the two connections that go through the starter relay. So not much to look at, gray in color. You can keep the little button polished. So we hope you found all this useful and informative. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching this video, and have a great day flying your Grumman.